Welcome, 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 welcome. I am so excited to be here. I am so excited to be a part of Be Phil Innovation Fest 2020. So, this year has been quite interesting thus far, as we all know. And so, doing this virtually is something that was unexpected. We were going to be in person, but hey, when things happen, you improvise. So I'm very excited to be here for the virtual Be Phil Fest 2020 and glad that you could join us today. My name is Rana Walker. I am a native Philadelphian, so I'm super excited about this platform, this festival that is here in Philadelphia. It was founded here. And I am a mental health therapist, yoga and mindfulness teacher. On television, I was a life coach and a health coach. I'm a writer, and I actually work with 0 to 3-year-olds. So I work with toddlers, I work with middle schoolers, doing mindfulness as well as other activities. So I went to Howard University undergrad. I was going to give a shout out to Howard. So Howard was one of the best experiences of my life. And I did my master's at Temple. So my undergrad is in psychology. My master's of education is in counseling psych. So all of these different things led me to this place today. I come from a family where my parents, who have been married 56 years, and my brother, we have always done things to help people to improve the quality of their lives, to have a better experience, to learn how to be in the moment, and to think outside the box. So growing up, my household was a little different. We were really allowed to ask questions. We were critical thinkers, so that when we walked into situations, we knew, hey, does that make sense? 1 and 1 is 2, not 4. Okay, so let's examine this, let's ask questions, and let's think for ourselves. So I just want to first thank my parents for being amazing and for giving me guidance and direction and support and unconditional love. And because of that, I sit here before you today, going through the process of becoming a therapist and doing that for 20 plus years. And integrating the mind, body, spirit experience has been my life's work. Whether I'm on television, whether it's in a book, on radio, whatever it is, my focus is mind, body, and spirit, because those 3 things are what make up who we are. And when you don't have all 3, something is out of balance. And so as I think about what's happening in the world today, a lot of things are out of balance. And I know that it is hard for a lot of us to reconcile what is happening. Our lives have been forever changed. But that's the one constant, right? Change. So here we are dealing with change, and we're making the most of it. And through change comes chaos and setbacks and maybe some heartache and some delays, but also transformation takes place. Transformation takes place. You're able to see yourself in a new light, a different light. And I am hopeful that during this time of 2020, the universe has asked us to sit down, take a seat, and be still. And I hope that you are now discovering who you are. So for the What's on Top segment, I wanted to do, what we're going to do is have you raise your hand. So there's a place where you can raise your hand and talk about what's on top. Once you raise your hand, the moderator will select you, and then you can turn on your camera and your microphone and you can join in. So we won't be doing it anonymously because that's going to be a little more trying here with this platform. So what's on top? Whenever someone's ready, you can just raise your hand. So if your hand is raised and you want to be on camera, you can turn on your camera and your microphone. Or if you just want your voice to be heard, just turn on your microphone. All right. So one of the things that's on top right now is thinking about your life, thinking about what's happening in this moment, and thinking about family, relationships, work, if you have children, your pets, whatever it is. These are things that you're thinking about on a regular basis. But we want to talk about what's on top and to see if there's something that has sparked something within you. So I'll start. So what's on top for me right now is being alive and being aware of who I am, getting to know myself. During this time, I've had plenty of time to get to know myself in lots of different ways. So for me, I'm really getting to know Rana again. And I know just in general, with a lot of moving and doing, we're forgetting that we're human beings. And so during this time, when we've all had to slow down, we've had to reconcile, come face to face with some of the things about us that we like and some of the things that we don't like. But all of it makes up who we are. So it's all good. You can also write in the chat if you have anything you want to say in the chat. So just some housekeeping tips. You can either come on camera and ask a question or talk about what's on top for you, or you can write it in the chat or the Q&A. Okay. So I think we have one person, Taliba. I hope I'm saying it right. And so you have to unmute your microphone. Okay, you're on. Okay, just give us a moment.
Okay, so what's on top for me?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Good morning, everybody. So what's on top for me is trying to have a mindfulness, but still take in what's going on in the world. Like for me, I find that listening to the news and being on social media puts me in this really toxic place. So I'm trying to find out how can I have a stillness and a peace about me and a mindfulness about me, but still know what's going on in my environment.
So tell me how you say your name.
Taliba.
Taliba. Okay, so I just said
yes.
It correctly. Okay, so Taliba, thank you for that. That is such a great question. And what I can tell you, what has worked for me and for other people that I've spoken to, is to stop listening to the news, stop reading articles about what's happening. And I know some people may say, but I need to know what's going on. Well, sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. So I'm only speaking from personal experience, Taliba. I was reading everything in sight. I was watching news, reading articles. It was crazy. So what did I do? I took off all the news feeds on my phone, like all of those apps I removed, took them off. I don't watch the news anyway, so that wasn't anything difficult. And I really stopped reading articles that were popping up on Facebook, Instagram, that were telling me that the world was coming to an end. So when you want to be mindful, I would recommend that you think about what you're feeding yourself. And I'm talking about the media, the news, things that are not serving you. It's okay to be informed. You still want to know what's going on, but maybe you do it once a week. Maybe someone tells you when something really important has happened. And that has worked for me. So that's what I will offer to you. And to replace that with something that makes you feel good. If it's music, if it's, reading a good book, whatever it is, if it's just taking time to just sit still. And another thing is listing all the things that you're grateful for. If you create a list of all the things that you're grateful for and all of the things that are happening in your life that are beautiful and wonderful, separate and apart from what's going on, I think that'll be helpful. You're welcome. Okay, S. Tong, can you unmute your microphone? S. Tong, can you unmute your microphone for us, please, so we can hear your question? Okay. Is there anyone else who'd like to ask a question or to just tell us what's on top? It may not be a question, maybe just a statement. If so, raise your hand and then we'll have you come on. Emma, could you unmute yourself and turn your camera on?
Hi, can you hear me or no?
Hi, Emma, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good. So what's on top for me is just having solitude and journaling and doing meditation. Those things for me like help me to like get my day started because I like to be intentional about my day. So those are the things that I like to do. And in my journal, I like to practice gratitude to outlast like 3 things, and instantly it helps to like change my mood. So
thank you. Thank you for sharing, Emma. Thank you for sharing those tips.
Sure.
So hopefully all of us are hearing what each one of us is saying, and we're taking something away that is helpful. Okay, Tisha or Tisha, could you unmute yourself and turn on your camera?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hi, good morning.
Hi, if you don't mind, I won't turn on my video this morning.
Sure, I understand. We're zoomed out, visible out. I understand. Go for it.
Thank you. I wanted to say that I believe that for me anyway, and I think for many, the need to know, the need to be connected to every little thing on social media and in the news is an addiction. And we have to break that addiction. And we really have to put it in perspective. First of all, we're allowing ourselves to be roped into every bit of false news more and more when I'm on social media. Before I comment on something, I do a little research. There's strategies going on where old news is being posted just to be inflammatory and distract us. So I think we have to take big steps back and decide what's important to us. And I love what Emma said. What's important to us? Mm-hmm. And it's got to first be my serenity, my peace, my contentment, and what's going to contribute to that. Every new truth will come to the forefront eventually. We don't have to be involved in every excruciating bit of the way because my gut goes along with all of that, and that is not healthy. I mean, my stress level to begin with is tremendously high, and it's just like we're in a fear of flight or fight state all the time. And I know it's not doing my mental or my physical health any good or my relationships. So as Emma said, trying to find that solitude and that peace and that quiet has been extremely difficult, but I'm doing it. I'm about to move to a different place to find it, to extricate myself physically from the situation, but I need to do that myself. I have to show the discernment and control to limit what I'm taking into my mind also.
Yes, that was really, really, really insightful. And how do you pronounce your name?
Tisha. It's short for Letitia.
Oh, Tisha. Okay. So, Tisha, thank you for sharing that. And while you were talking, it made me think about there's a documentary on Netflix right now called The Social Dilemma. And it really speaks to what you just said about how social media is actually doing all sorts of tracking and feeding you the stories that you already have in your mind, so that it just further solidifies whatever it is that you believe, and that different stories are going to different people based on how many times they're clicking certain stories, and so they feed them more of them. So it's really this whole reinforcing what it is that you believe, and even, sharing stories with you that are false. And so then you're disconnected from what is it that I truly believe and I truly think, because now you're just sort of like a robot. They send you messages, they send you stories, you click, you click, you click. The more you click, the more they send you. And then, in terms of how advertising feeds into that, it's just, right. It's a system. It's a system, and you're absolutely right. So I think one of the things I usually recommend is taking time away. And I know some people have actually removed the social media apps from their phone. So whatever it is that's going to serve you to feel more at peace and to not get caught up in the distractions, because it's all a distraction to keep us from being focused on ourselves. Mm-hmm.
We have to be strong and do what's best for us.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. Is there anyone else who'd like to share before we move on? We'll take one more person. Okay. All right. So that was what's on top. We got to share with one another and to provide each other with tools and tips that might be helpful. And to remember that here we are in this space and time being present. And for most of our lives, we're not present. We're in the past, we're in the future, what happened, what may happen, but all we have is right here, right now. So being in this moment, I want to talk about mindfulness. Mindfulness is being present without judgment, being right where you are in that moment and understanding this moment is all that truly exists. So the rest is an illusion. Until you are in that space, it doesn't exist. The past, that's gone. The future has yet to come. So going through this pandemic has really helped a lot of people slow down and to really be present with their family, be present to themselves, and to really reassess, where am I in my life? Is this where I want to be? Is there something else that's calling me? Is there something I'm really passionate about that I've been kind of playing at on the sidelines or not doing at all because I have to make money to feed my family, to keep a roof over my head? But now the universe has given us this moment in time to actually think about it. Think about it, create it, try it out, try something new. Life is about change. Life is about growth. Life is what you make it. So when we think about mindfulness, there are different types. You have mindful communication, and part of that is active listening. So really taking the time to listen. And that means listening, not thinking about what you're going to say in response to what the person just said to you. It's really listening. So listening without feedback, just holding the space for that person to feel heard. There's mindful eating, and mindful eating is really helpful, especially for those of us who want to just have overall better health. It helps with reducing indigestion because you're eating slowly, you're tasting every bite. So you're tasting, let's say, a piece of lettuce. You're hearing the crunch, you're chewing, you're looking at the green color. It's going to all of your taste buds, and you're really experiencing the food that you're eating. Now, I know this is something that I always have to deal with because I tend to eat rather quickly. So I have to actually tell myself, oh, it's time to eat. Let me slow down. I have to tell myself, let's slow down and let's eat. Let's enjoy each bite. Place the fork down between bites and chew. Really chew your food. Don't just swallow it. Because when you just swallow your food, your brain doesn't get the signal that you're eating that is getting the nutrients, because it's bypassing. So when that happens, the ghrelin hormone, which tells you I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, you just stay hungry because you're swallowing. When you're chewing, your stomach, your brain, all of that is understanding, oh, there's food there. I'm getting nutrients. I'm satiated. So when you do that, the leptin hormone says we're full. So if you didn't know that, there's something that you can, just be aware of. Chewing mindfully helps you to eat better, have better digestion, and also it helps you to lose weight because you're not eating as much. So those are two things to think about. One of the things I like to do with the young people is taking a Hershey's Kiss. And this is how we practice mindful eating. So, young people, they're ready to just throw it in their mouths. Oh my God, it's a Hershey's Kiss. I'm so excited. So with that, we practice. You have to peel the wrapper off. You have to hold it in your hand. You have to look at it. You have to smell it. And then you can take a little tiny bite. And you have to let it roll around in your mouth and really experience the chocolate. Because a lot of times we're not in the present, so we're not experiencing what's happening in that moment. We're rushing to the next moment. So anyway, the fifth graders, they get really annoyed. Oh my God, Miss Walker, stop it. I'm like, have another bite and have another bite. And then when they're just about to lose it, I say, okay, now you can eat the rest. So that's just a simple way to test it out to see if you can begin to practice mindful eating. I find it very helpful. And the kids, as much as they complain, they really loved it. So active listening, which is a part of mindful communication, mindful eating. And then, of course, breath work is a big part of mindfulness, meditation. So whether you're in an actual meditation or you're just focused on pranayama, which is the life force, ayama is extension, and then together it's extended breath, pranayama. So if you're focused on just breathing, that will help. And earlier someone mentioned something about, I think it was Tisha. She mentioned feeling anxious and having a lot of stress. And she mentioned the fight, flight, or freeze. So what I wanted to do was to take us into a few breathing techniques to help you. And this one is a 4-6 count. And what this does is when you get really riled up, or like say you were about to cross the street and a car just misses you. So your heart is beating really fast, right? And that's a fight, flight, or freeze. So in that situation, you may run, you may decide you want to stay and argue, or you may freeze. And so your heart is beating rapidly and the sympathetic nervous system is being told it's not safe here. So with this 4-6 count breathing, what we're going to do is regulate the body, the mind, and the spirit and tell it, hey, things are okay. So now the parasympathetic nervous system takes over and it tells us all is well. So you just plant your feet, roll your shoulders up, back, and down. And you can close your eyes or let them hang heavy or stare straight ahead, whatever is comfortable for you. And just breathe. So let's tune into your breath. Feel yourself on the chair. Your spine is erect. Your back is straight. And now we're going to inhale. So we're going to inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do 2 more rounds of that. Inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So Another way for you to see if this is working for you, because when you're inhaling, your belly is rising, and when you're exhaling, your belly is caving in. So you can just place both hands on your belly if you like, and just feel it. So just inhale. And then exhale. Your belly will sink. Inhale. Belly is rising. Exhale. Your belly is sinking. So that's something that you can do at any point at any time if you're feeling anxious. And by doing this breathing, the 4-6 count, and other pranayama techniques, you are helping to reduce stress, anxiety, depression, anger, helping to bring yourself back to homeostasis. So in mindfulness, these are things or practices that you can do easily without a lot of time and effort. And the more you do it, the longer you may want to do it. But it's just a quick way to bring yourself back to where you'd like to be. So I'll just tell you, we have lots of thoughts every day. And when I talk about it with kids or adults, they say, oh, 1,000,000 thoughts a day. Oh, 100 thoughts a day. It depends on who you're talking to. So why mindfulness is really important is because daily we have 25,000 to 70,000 thoughts. That's a lot of thoughts. It's a lot of thoughts. So these thoughts are not new thoughts all the time. You may have some originals, but they're not always new thoughts. So the old tapes are playing, the same messages or thoughts you've had the day before, the week before, the month before are still wrapped up in there. So when we practice mindfulness, we're able to just focus on what's happening at that moment. And so that's what we really want to make sure that we're doing at least some part of your day. It's not possible to do it every moment of the day. I understand that. But to be able to make that a regular part of your day is really a good idea. So there's another breathing technique we'll do before we move on. And this one is the 4-square breathing. So this one is a breath that athletes, nurses, police officers may do. Others, athletes who have, high pressure jobs. So right now, all of us are under pressure, so it applies to all of us. But the 4-square breathing is something that is really helpful. And so we're going to sit up again. And what you're going to do is, once again, you can, before you close your eyes, so we're going to imagine a box. You're going to inhale, hold, exhale, hold. So that's the box. So inhale, just go up the box, hold it when you go across, exhale when you go down, hold it at the bottom. All right? So let's do a couple rounds of that. So close your eyes, let them hang heavy, stare straight ahead. So let's inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1, hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. One more round. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, and resume normal breathing. So these are two techniques that you can use, the 4-6 count and the 4-square breathing, or also known as the box breathing. These are really helpful. They're easy to do, and you can do them right at your desk, whether you're working or as a student, you're sitting at your desk during class time. If you need to do that, it will help you. So one last technique I want to show you before we move on to something else is I want you to just take your hands, turn them toward your face, place your palms over your eyes, and just breathe. One more. And slowly bring your hands down. So when you do this, sometimes you see people and they're really stressed out and they just sit like this and they put their hands over their face. They're doing it because they're stressed out. But what they don't know is that when you place your hands over your eyes, it's helping to regulate your blood pressure. So when you're feeling stressed or anxious, that's another quick, easy way. Hands over and breathe. And you can do it for like 30 seconds. So those are 3 tips. So now what I want to talk about is, where is the love? Where is the love? Thinking about life and love and how we're taught to love everyone else. We're always taught, love thy neighbor as thyself. Let me ask you, if you're loving your neighbor as yourself, would your neighbor be very happy with the way you're loving yourself? Think about that. We need to improve the way that we interact with ourselves. We're always taught to think about other people and how we treat them. But let's talk about how we're loving ourselves. So what I want to talk to you about is, where are you in that process? Where are you in that process? Are you loving yourself the way you would like? Are you in a honeymoon phase with yourself, an irritation phase, a tolerating phase, or a thriving phase? So that applies to other relationships, but I want to apply it to you right now. Is that where you want to be? The honeymoon phase, the irritation phase, the tolerating phase, or the thriving phase? And studies have shown that a lot of people get stuck in the irritating and the tolerating phase and never make it to the thriving phase. So now that we have this time to really do some reflection, self-reflection, I want you to just think about where you are. And if you have something to write with, write it down. Which phase do you think you're in right now? The honeymoon phase, all is well. The irritating phase, oh my God. So you think about this in relation to other people, but think about how you irritate yourself. And then what about tolerating? Are you just tolerating yourself? Are you feeling disconnected from yourself? Or the thriving phase? Are you really enjoying yourself, liking yourself, and loving yourself, and really appreciating who you are? So I want you to just write one of those words down, or you might be in between 2 of them. And the next thing I want to talk to you about is the 5 love languages. So the 5 love languages, when we think about where is the love, they're words of affirmation, they're acts of service, receiving gifts, physical touch, and give me a second. There's one more, but it's not coming to me right now. Oh, the most important one. That's the one I love the most. Quality time. So it's quality time, right? So words of affirmations, quality time, acts of service, receiving gifts, or physical touch. Those are the 5. I want you to think about what you believe your love language to be. What you believe it is, and write that down. So I'll say them again. Words of affirmation such as I love you, quality time, acts of service, receiving gifts, and physical touch. An example would be, I want you to think about it as it pertains to you and what your love language is. But an example would be if a husband washes clothes. And so he tells the wife, hey, I washed your clothes, and she's thinking, okay, that was nice, but that's just a household duty. So what I would really feel good about, because his is acts of service, she will feel good about words of affirmation. I love you, honey. You look beautiful today. So what tends to happen is that we tend to love people the way we want to be loved, instead of really finding out what works for them. So the 5 love languages is really handy in that it helps you to understand, oh, just because I'm loving you the way I want to be loved doesn't mean that's working for you. So that's where that all comes together. And you have to really take the time, if you care, to find out what another person's love language is. But in this moment, I'm wanting you to write down what your love language is. Last time I'll say words of affirmation, receiving gifts, quality time. Which one? Physical touch. So what I'd like you to do is to take whatever you wrote down in terms of where you are in those different phases. The honeymoon, the irritation, the tolerating, or the thriving phase, whatever that word is, you've written that down. And then for your 5 love languages, you got to choose which one it was, right? Words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, receiving gifts, and physical touch. So I want you to write dear and then put your name, and then leave a lot of space and put love with your name. So I usually give exercises for people to do. So this would be an exercise for you to do. We're not going to do it now because we're going to move into yoga. But what I want you to do is take whatever you came up with, and when you're finished with the session, I want you to write a love letter to yourself in the present, because being mindful is about being in the present. So being present, dear Rana, I love you because you are wonderful, kind, and loving. I love that we are in the thriving phase. I love that you are interested in other people. Whatever it is, that's what I want you to do when you're finished with this session. So that's an exercise. Hopefully you will take yourself up on it and write yourself a love letter, because when's the last time you did that? I don't know. All right. So now we're going to move into chair yoga. So I'm going to slide back, and we're going to just do a little bit of yoga. And I want you to be able to see, let me turn this down a little bit. I want you to be able to see. Yeah. Okay. Here we are. All right. So we're going to start with sitting up tall in the chair. We're going to roll our shoulders up, back, and down. And then we're going to reverse them and come to the front. Good. And so when we're doing this, we're going to use Ujjayi breath. So that's inhaling and exhaling through the nose. So this helps us to build fire. So it's another pranayama technique, and it is used throughout the practice of yoga. You want to just inhale and then exhale. Lips are slightly sealed, so you're breathing in and out through the nostrils. Okay. So first we're going to take our hands. We're going to inhale, take hands overhead, interlace fingers, extend your pointer fingers, and stretch. So these are easy techniques that you can do if you're at work, sitting in your bedroom, hey, waiting for the bus, I don't know. It's just something easy and simple to do. Let's bring our arms down. Good. Extend your left arm. Flip your fingertips down. Take your right hand and press fingertips back ever so slightly. Fingertips up, press back slightly with right hand. Good. And switch. Extend your right hand, fingertips up. Take your left hand, press back slightly. Okay. Turn your fingertips down toward the floor, still pressing back with the left hand. Okay. Shake it out. From here, extend your arms long, the letter T. Now take your right hand and swim it underneath your left, and then bring your palms together. And you want to lift your elbows and press your forearms away. Now, if this is not accessible, this is eagle arms, you can grab opposite shoulders and then lift your elbows, okay? Now, with the Ujjayi breath, on every exhale, go into any place in your body that feels tight. So as we inhale and exhale, like the upper part of my back feels tight, so I'm breathing. It's all in my mind's eye. I'm breathing into that tight place. So inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Okay. Now, arms back out in the letter T. This time you're going to take the left arm underneath the right. Same thing. Whatever you do on one side, we have to do on the other. Lift up your elbows, press your forearms away, or grab opposite shoulders. And breathe. Remember to breathe. Okay. Shake your arms out again. Good. Now, interlace fingers, arms are extended. Flip your palms, round your back, bring your chin down, and breathe. Inhale, take your arms overhead. Fingers are still interlaced. Slowly bring your arms down. Good. So from here, we're going to do 4 square seated pose. So for this, you can hold onto the arms of the chair. Inhale, extend your right leg straight in front of you. Exhale, place it on your left thigh. Flex your right foot. If it's not accessible to you, cross at the ankles. Okay? Bring palms together, heart center, keeping foot flexed. And breathe. So for the quadriceps and hamstrings and the gluteus maximus, you're getting a good stretch there. You can breathe into that tight place if it's feeling tight. Let's take one more round of breath. Okay. Extend your right leg in front of you again and place it down next to your left. Inhale, extend your left leg. Exhale, place it on your right thigh. Flex your left foot. Same thing, other side. Bring hands to heart center and breathe. All the while engaging the core. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath. One more round. Okay. Bring your hands back to the arms of the chair. Extend your left leg in front of you and bring it down. Now, still engaging your core, extend your legs straight out in front of you. So your legs are out like that. Good. If that's not accessible, you can keep your feet down. So we're just going to point and flex. So point and flex. Point, flex. Good. Now we can take ankle circles, go in one direction. And reverse it. Good. And bring your feet back down. Right. So now we're going to stand up. And you can hold on to your chair. We're going to inhale, bring the right leg up to hips height. Knee is bent, foot is flexed. Take your left hand, place it underneath your right thigh. Stand up tall, keeping everything square. And then you can just turn and gaze over your right shoulder. So you're twisting the upper torso. So, gazing over the right shoulder and breathing. Or you can actually release and look towards your fingertips. Finding something that's not moving if you have released the chair to stay focused and stable. Bring your arm back down. Bring your leg back down. Good. So now we're going to move to the other side. Bring your left knee up to hips height. Knee is bent, foot is flexed. Take your right hand, grab underneath your left leg, left thigh, and lift up. And turn and gaze over your left shoulder. If you want, you can release the hand. Remember to find your drishti or focal point, something that's not moving, to stay up. Bringing the hand back down, bringing the leg back down. Okay? The last thing we're going to do is goddess pose. So you can stand behind your chair, turn your feet out on a diagonal, and you can either go straight down or you can sit your backside out, grab underneath your thighs, and then rotate your pelvis under. And then hold them to the chair. So we're here in goddess pose. You can stay here. You can bring your hands to heart center. And breathe. Now we're going to inhale, come up onto the ball of the right foot. And come down. Inhale, come up onto the ball of the left foot. And down. And let's just alternate. Come back to center, and now you may want to hold on. From here, you're going to be in a goddess pose. You're going to come up onto the balls of both feet at the same time. Find your drishti if you release your hands. Hands are heart center, and breathe for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Heels down, straighten your legs. All right. Last time. Going back down. Feet are planted. Hands at heart center. And we're just going to pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, feel the burn. All right. So we're going to end with a heart meditation. So just take a moment, get situated in your chair again. Great job. I can't see you, but I'm sure you did a fabulous job. So plant your feet, and you can place your hands down if you need more grounding, up for more energy. Yogi's choice, you choose. So I want you to just start to tune into the current of your breath. Feel the weight of your body on the chair. Feel your back long and straight. Just allow your breath, breathing deeply from the diaphragm. Feeling it going all the way up to the top of your head and back down through the bottoms of your feet. Sending that breath to every cell in your body. Giving it all the oxygen it needs so that each cell can do what it needs to do. Sending oxygen to every organ. So as you focus on your breath and become completely in sync with your body, your mind, and your spirit, I want to take you on a journey. And in this journey, we're going to go to a place and a time where you experience one of your first losses, whether it was love of a pet that you lost, a grandparent, or you had to move away from your first childhood home to another city and make friends all over again. Whether your heart was broken after a relationship with your first love or your third or your fifth love, you decide where you want to journey back to reclaim a piece of your heart. Continue to breathe. And once you arrive there, what does it feel like? What does it smell like? What memories are coming up for you? Is it as you remembered? Is there something different this time? Just taking a moment to be here in that experience. Understanding and knowing that nothing is ever truly lost in the universe. But in this place, at this time, with this pet or this person or thing, where you feel there is a void in your heart, Reclaim that piece of your heart. Thank them for all the lessons, all the messages, all the blessings. Thank them for everything and tell them you are reclaiming that piece of your heart. And as you do, bid them farewell. And then take that piece of your heart and bring it into your heart space. Move your hands to your heart. Imagine a green light in your body, which represents the Untitled Chapter, the heart chakra. Suffusing your entire body with green light. Drawing that piece back into that void, that space that was long ago left empty. Absorb it back into your heart space. Breathe into it. Know that that space is now filled. That memory is still there. That love that was shared, that experience will never disappear. Allowing you to embrace and recognize the ability to heal from any situation by going back to that place, that space, that time, and reclaiming that piece of your heart. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath. One more round. So understanding and knowing that you can come back to this place at any time as other memories may come up, other experiences where you would like to reclaim a piece of your heart. This is something you can do whenever you're ready, whenever you want to. Now slowly bring your hands back down to your lap. And then when you're ready, you slowly blink your eyes open. So, I hope that mindfulness over matter was helpful for you today, and that you were able to glean something that you can use in the future. Whether it's practicing mindfulness techniques, pranayama, yoga, active listening, part of mindful communication, mindful eating, understanding where you are in your life. Are you loving yourself? Are you tolerating yourself? Choosing whether or not to write a love letter to yourself. And then knowing that at any time you can go back to any situation to reclaim pieces of your heart. So I thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day and that you decide to live moment by moment in the present. Thank you.